Hi everyone, I'm back with another episode. I'm here today with Sam from Kids Village. I'm going to hand over to you first, Sam, to explain exactly what you do.
So, my name is Sam, correct? And I'm the founder of a new charity called Kids Village. So, I say new, it's been an idea of mine and a plan of mine since I was 9, 10 years old to build this charity because I was diagnosed with cancer when I was 9. I had a lump in the side of my face that grew really quickly, and I went in for a surgery on what they told me and my parents was going to be a cyst, like a really quick and easy 15-minute job, and came out 9 hours later with a cancer diagnosis. So I had a very uncertain future. I had a very difficult time ahead of me and my family. But my mum and dad had this incredible attitude of keeping me focused on what I wanted to do when I was better. So they never allowed me to believe that the outcome would be bad. You know, I was told that by the doctors, but it was absolutely keep going forward, keep going forward. What do you want to do? And whilst we were in hospital, we found out about this place in America called Give Kids the World Village. So, a holiday village just outside Disneyland that's only for children with critical illness and their families to go and stay for free. And amazingly, I got to go and had the most transformational, incredible time there that since that moment of being 10, 11 years old, me and my dad said, we want to build one of these. This is what we want to leave in the UK because I was so lucky to get to go to America. I was so lucky to live. And my dad kind of said, if you do live, then I'm going to put everything there is into it and we're going to build the UK's first version of a holiday village over here. So that's what Kids Village is. You sort of need the backstory to understand because it
Yeah.
doesn't exist yet. It will do very soon, but it's going to be pretty special.
A great reason and inspiring story as to why you've done it. When do you think it will be ready to open?
Hopefully, very soon. It's very difficult to say because it's obviously all based on the fundraising and when we get to certain moments. It's been a long time to get to this point. So obviously I had this idea a long time ago. I'm nowhere near 11 years old anymore, but to get the land, to get the planning permission, all of those things have taken a very long time. We got the planning permission finally granted in 2023. It was all going on through COVID, which made it all slow, and there were so many challenges that we had to overcome. So we're now at a point where we've appointed some people to work on it for us. We've got a fantastic board of trustees. We've got a CEO who's CEO of two people at the moment, her and another fundraiser. And we're well on the way to getting to the target that we need, which is 5 million to build the whole lot. We're going to hopefully open in the next couple of years. I don't want to be any more specific than that because we're sort of working on those timelines as a charity at the moment. But in my eyes, as soon as humanly possible is what I'm aiming for.
That's a hell of a lot of money to have to raise 5 million. How have you done most of that fundraising?
I'd say the majority so far has been through generous individuals and businesses and partnerships and things like that. We had to raise a lot of money to get through the planning permission. That was a huge thing in itself, like a few £100,000 probably when you sort of add everything all together. And we're sort of well on the way to 2 million at the moment out of the five. We are looking at phased options of opening Kids Village before we've got the whole lot so we can sort of get going. It's mostly been through very generous individuals or businesses so far, but there are a few other avenues which will open up to us as we go down the journey.
When you think about trying to raise 5 million, such a huge number. I
It
set
is.
about
It is.
tasks for events and trying to raise 5 grand, and that feels a huge number. So that would blow my mind.
It probably comes from my dad, but I have this unwavering belief and determination to make it happen, so I won't stop ever. And it sort of is really coming together now that I would call myself the founder. At one point, I thought that I needed to be the leader as well, the CEO of the charity. But actually, I've seen the biggest growth in the last couple of years where I've stepped away and done from doing and sort of just do the things that I'm really good at because I have a career outside of the charity that I am pursuing really passionately as well, because being so sick as a child has left me with this sort of attitude that you do genuinely only get one life to live. So I'm going to do everything that I possibly want to, that interests me, I find exciting, and that I'm passionate about. So in finding people that are good at the bits that I'm not, then it's really sort of grown it really quickly. And I suppose the other thing to mention is my dad built a company called Forest Holidays. So we decided that we were the people to build this charity project because he also has massive commercial experience in doing exactly what we want to do, but in a commercial sector. So he has a huge amount of contacts, a huge amount of experience and knowledge in how to do it that has really helped us on our way. And sort of the trustees that we've now brought in. So Doug Wright is our chairman, who's done a lot of work with the Ronald McDonald House and raised millions of
Yeah.
pounds. Once you sort of bring this super team together, that 5 million is still massive, but it feels more achievable.
He's got a massive business empire as well, hasn't he? So
Yeah,
it's certainly a good person to have in your corner.
big time.
Winding a bit ahead now, but once it's up and running, how much do you foresee that you need to raise every year to just maintain it, keep the doors open, so to speak?
Yeah, we're sort of in a little bit of internal discussion on this as well at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be more than 400,000 ish pounds a
Okay.
year to run. So there's 10 lodges and a central facility. So at any one time, you've got 10 families on site, but they can
Okay.
have up to a family of 8. So we've sort of got
Okay.
4 bedrooms in each lodge because it's not just the sort of immediate family that a critical illness affects. It's your aunties, your uncles, your grandma,
Yeah.
everybody that's sort of part of it. So the idea is that everybody can come together. So, and the running of it will be, obviously there'll be a small core team. We're intending to build it as green as humanly possible, so that the sort of those boring overheads are as small as possible, and also a big network of volunteers. So the place in America is, volunteers are the lifeblood of that place. They're the people that are
Yeah.
delivering all the activities. They have things like Christmas every single week. So it doesn't matter if it's June, July, December, Santa Claus is turning up, there's a snow machine, and there's like a mountain of volunteers making gingerbread houses and doing all of those things. And we see our version of Kids Village, which is very much inspired by the one in America, but is sort of our own English version of using some of those core operational values as well. And I think we'll sort of model a little bit on how they've managed to achieve that.
It's certainly an impressive vision and something I'd further down the line love to have a look around when you're doing the work or see some of the plans and hopefully we
Yeah,
can
definitely.
support you with bits along the way. Definitely, we ain't going to make much of a dent in the 5 million for you, sadly, but you know
You know, a
we'll
lot of
try and put
people
you as
say
one of
that,
our
but it,
charities a year.
yeah, a lot of people do say that, and I get that it feels like a big target, but when you add everybody together, you'd be surprised how quickly that grows. You know, the
Yeah.
individual, the kid the other week gave us their £15 pocket money. That still is going towards building Kids Village, and all of those £15 pocket monies or £500, 5 grand, all of those add together a lot quicker than you think and are equally important in our sort of fundraising journey.
It's an amazing cause. My head's already going as to what we could do in the future to try and help. We support a lot of different charities. I don't know how much you know about the foundation and you know, the main ones we really get behind are often kids' charities. We've just announced a run that we're doing for Promised Dreams. I'm sure you've heard of them.
I
And
have.
yeah, so we're arranging a 10K run for them in May next
Love
year
that.
to kind of just to help them celebrate 25 years. It always resonates with people, doesn't it? We don't like to see
Yeah,
anyone ill, but particularly kids, it does pull on your heartstrings, especially as a
yeah,
parent.
it feels particularly unfair. But Promise Dreams are the kind of charity that we will be partnering with. So the way that it will work is we're partnered with other charities who will send families to us. Because one of the
Okay.
things that I've always said is I can't choose. How can I choose from a piece of paper what families get to access a break? So it needs to be charities that are working with them. Birmingham Children's, Make a Wish, people like Promise Dreams who will actually send families. So we're very much look at everything in this sort of like collaborative work together way because
Yeah, there's
we're
another good
hopefully
small
going for the
one
same
that
thing.
you Yeah, another good small one I interviewed the other week called Wishes for Kids, based in
Okay,
Leicester.
cool.
They'd be one worth you talking to as well. So do a very similar thing to Promise Dreams, but more from children in Leicestershire area.
Wicked. Yeah, no, I'd
So
definitely put the chat into everyone.
I definitely want to find ways we can help you along the way, whether it's just sharing what you do, putting an event on for you, or whatever we can do over these next few years to try and get your project running.
Yeah, thank you. Up on site, working on the site at the moment. So if you or any of the team want to come up and see it, because it is particularly beautiful, it's in the beautiful Staffordshire countryside. I was going to say you can see Cannock Chase. It's kind of in the background, but you can kind of see Cannock Chase. It's stunning. So if you ever want to come up, we've got like a site office now, and we're about to start work on some other slightly boring things like maintenance compounds and things that need to be done in order to get to the next stage. But I've never been so excited about a maintenance compound and roads and car parks because they're all sort of the key to the next part.
A massive part of the journey you've been on
Yeah.
since an idea at 11 years old. I guess one thing I always ask, have you got any kind of fundraising events or anything coming up? Easy ways for people to support you, watch this and go, that's a great cause. I want to donate 10, 20, £50. What's the best way to support you?
We're pretty active on social media. So I think one of the things that I we really value, which is free, is for people to follow us, to like what we're doing, to share what we're doing. Because we're so new and small, one of our biggest challenges is sharing the message of what we're doing because we're doing something pretty exceptional and really exciting, this UK first, but not the whole of the UK know about it yet because it's really hard to get that message across. So we're at Kids Village Charity on every single social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. We're everywhere, and you'll see my face, unfortunately, a lot because that is the bit that I really do drive for us now. Is sort of the social content and sharing our story. So we would really appreciate that. And then on our social media and on our website, which is kidsvillage.org.uk, you'll see everything. There's loads of things. We've got a smorgasbord of options of ways that you can support us at the moment. We have access to lots of different runs across the country. If you're a runner and you fancy doing a 10k, a half marathon, a marathon, we've got access to lots of those things. We have lots of events as well going on all the time, ones that we're putting on or ones that people that are supporting us that are putting on. So I'd say that's probably the best thing to do to pick your favourite. Do you like a quiz? There'll be a quiz on. There'll be a little bit for everyone.
Hopefully people go and check those links out. I'll certainly make sure I connect with you on everything. And
Yeah,
when
wicked.
I upload this video so that we can get it shared across as many platforms as possible. And just, like I've said on previous podcasts, I don't expect you to get a flood of donations, but if we can just get one or two more people supporting you, even just
Yeah,
make the slightest difference, then it was it was worth half hour of mine and your time today, really. And
exactly,
um,
exactly. That's exactly how we feel too.
that's been part of the motivation as well behind the foundation when I set that up. Is it would have been very easy for us as a business to pick one key charity a year and just kind of give them one big check, and that would have been lovely for the lucky charity. But so many good causes, it's just too difficult to pick one. So we started off with one a month. We've been 18 this year, plus then I think it ends up being 22 because of the fundraising events we're doing. And the target eventually is to pick one a week. And each charity gets a cheque for £1,500. Or we do an event from, we did Snowdon this year for Edward's Trust. We've got the charity night for Air Ambulance, and we've got a football tournament as well for Promise Stream. We put an event on at Christmas for basically children to come. This year it's a pantomime. Before we've hired cinemas, children who have really been unwell or suffered loss in the family, to kind of just give them something to put a smile on their face for a day. I can expect to change anyone's life by taking them to the pantomime for a day. There's 80 tickets we've got this year. If we manage to 20 families of four and they have a good day out and enjoy Christmas a little bit more, then we're doing our job.
You'd be surprised how much those moments of joy do have a massive impact. Like when you're back to back hospital appointments, worrying about the future, there's very little space for just enjoying yourself and spending time as a family without being in hospital. So actually, or being worried or being stressed. So actually, those things like the pantomime are really great and really useful for those families. And you know, a lot of the families that we talk to struggling financially as well because of the stress of having a sick child. So to have a day put on for them is really valuable.
I've got a couple of things I'll discuss with you afterwards that we might be able to do for some of the families that are talking to you and just help a little bit with days out. I'm always so impressed and inspired by people like yourself that you kind of had something really rough happen, and rather than curl up in a ball and feel sorry for yourself, you're kind of creating this great legacy and thing that will really help people in the future, because you can't eradicate pain and suffering. It's impossible, but you can make people forget it was a phrase someone used recently, that you make them forget what they're going through. And if you create a place where they can be in a bubble and enjoy
Exactly.
themselves.
That's exactly the word I use actually, because you know, a lot of families who are sick get lovely offers of things to go on holidays and go on breaks, but often it's in isolation. So you go from feeling isolated in hospital or at home to going to stay in a lovely place on the coast, but you're isolated again because you're worried about the cleanliness, you're worried about being close to a hospital, you're worried about other people looking at you funny if you've got no hair or tubes or different types of medical equipment. So I think that's one of the key things for me about Kids Village, is that it's this sort of safe bubble where everybody gets it. And that was what was so powerful in America for me. It was the first place that I didn't wear a wig, for example, because I was like, oh, I get, like, everyone gets it. Like, I don't need to feel embarrassed or conscious that people are looking at me funny. So it's that sort of bubble that we want to create. On layer that on top with the beautiful English countryside, and we all know how much better you feel when you're outside amongst nature. Also, when you have a holiday, if you're a fully healthy person and you go on holiday, you come back with a breath of fresh air, with more hope, more energy, and then layer on top of that all the sort of magic that we want to include, like Christmas every week and little gifts and surprises and special moments and birthday parties that might have been forgotten because they're in hospital. I think we've got a recipe for something that's going to be really, really special for families to do.
It's so important. And for the rest of us who haven't suffered what you suffered, there's a lot of things you say there that none of us would think about. I wouldn't think about the freedom of not having to put a wig on. Having no, you don't think of those things. And even people who have their own health issues, you only really know what's appropriate to yourself. You know, I have a heart issue and suffered a cardiac arrest a few years ago, so I'm aware of how people with heart condition feel, but you're very blind to the rest of the world and other people's problems. I wouldn't have instantly thought, yes, that's a safe haven where they can just be themselves. But that's really important.
Yeah, and
So
it's not even when we were in America. I was talking to my mum and dad about this the other day. It wasn't like we were chatting to everyone, but it was this sort of, you know, really mutual understanding. And there was other kids in the pool. I had a thing called a Hickman line, which is like some wires coming out of your chest where they put the chemotherapy in, and there was other kids with them as well. So I was like, oh, God, this is amazing. Like, it's not just me, because actually in your peer group at school, it was just me. I was the only one in, I mean, I was rarely in school, but when I was in school, I was the only one in a bandana with some wires sticking out my chest. But when I was in this place, it felt really normal. And you felt part of a community that was just like you. So it's that essence which is was so powerful, that has sort of been a big driver, I think.
I can only imagine. You should be extremely proud of yourself and what you're creating, and I'm sure the day it opens will be a really emotional day, and hopefully one you manage to kind of sit back and take stock of, because it's going to have been an almighty effort to achieve that, and the difference you'll make. I expect to see you on the honours list in years to come for achieving such a thing.
Thought
You,
about that, but yeah, yeah,
it's,
it will be
you
amazing.
it's amazing the work people like you do. If there's more people who did it, we'd be in a better place as society. And I guess that's one of the joys of doing this process is all we see in the news is negative things about people and how horrible the world is to everyone. And if we can shine a light on the people that are going out of their way doing something that's absolutely no gain to themselves and dedicating loads of time to it, then maybe we'll restore a little bit of faith in humanity. Just keep doing what you're doing. Before we end, is there anything you don't think we've covered that you'd like to mention?
No, I don't think so. I think my ask is just that people join us on the journey. Like you said, it's not something that I can do on my own. It's not something that we can do on our own as a charity. It's something that we need to do together. And we're going to be here in the Midlands. We're going to be just north of Lichfield in Staffordshire. So we're going to be for children across the country. But for me, if we can all get behind it here in the Midlands, then we'll be able to make this happen as soon as possible. So it's something we can all be proud of, to have the UK's first here in the Midlands.
Great location for it. So keep doing what you're doing. Everyone, follow them on socials, see how you can support, even £1, £5, £10. It all makes a difference. Let's make this dream come a reality. Thanks for your time,
Thank
Sam. I
you.
appreciate
No, thank you. That's great.
it.